Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. The government's plan to encourage more people into work by cutting benefit would perhaps have some merit if there was any jobs to go to. But of course, over the last 8 months, they've done nothing but destroy jobs and destroy them well. And as we move forward into the next week or so, we'll see a lot more jobs disappear and evaporate as the national insurance bite starts, bleeding jobs. Going forward into the near future, of course, we'll have the Employment's Right Bill. And boy, is that going to cause a lot more unemployment as companies just don't hire anyone, shut down jobs, remove liability and risk by getting rid of positions that they can get rid of as quickly as possible. It's all about risk, isn't it, business? And everything the government do just make it harder and harder and harder. And so they are deliberately impoverishing people in the vain hope that they'll get a job, and at the same time they're destroying jobs. There is an argument that this is actually a crime against humanity. Certainly seems to breach some of the European Convention on Human Rights, things about dignity and so forth. So it might take a test case or two just to put them right. I do hope so. But it's okay for me to sit here and say this and for you to nod sagely at home or wherever you happen to be. Surely someone who is more knowledgeable, you would think, someone who's got the information at their fingertips would think very much the same. And they do. That is the Office of Budget Responsibility. This is the government's own department. It too has called this plan into question. Now, we know the OBR aren't necessarily the best at what they do. They tend to be rather optimistic in their forecasts, for example. But if even they are saying it's a bad idea, then you know it must be an absolutely awful idea. Now, these reforms, if they want to call them reforms, they insist on calling them reforms, but these slashing, nasty cuts to benefit that Labour are bringing in will be detrimental to people's livelihoods, their health, even their lives. I foresee people either dying through a lack of funding or ending their own lives for the sake of £5 billion. Meanwhile, they wank away £11 million on African farmers, 300 billion in Ukraine, 18 billion in Mauritius and so forth. But they can't afford to ensure people in this country are adequately looked after. Is this what you voted Labour for, people? Is this what Labour MPs signed up for? I suspect most of them know. But this is what we've got. So anyone who voted Labour has voted for this. Whether they meant it or not, it's the upshot. People have been saying for years, never vote for socialism. It always ends in tears. And boy, this one, there will be much wailing and gnashing of teeth, assuming there's any teeth left, the way that it's going with dentistry in this country. But the OBR says that Labour's plans constitute what they call the largest single proposal of welfare cuts since the measure announced in 2015 by the Conservatives. And they say it would be expected to reduce income and so increase work incentives for existing claimants. However, those claimants will struggle to find jobs as the job market is so sparse. So they know that they're throwing people on the scrap heap, expecting them to get a job, and they know there are no jobs. It's deliberate. They're deliberately impoverishing and making miserable people in this country. Vulnerable, weakened people. People who can't necessarily stand up and fight for themselves. It's inhuman. It's nasty. It's vicious. And worst of all, though, it's quite needless. And it seems to me they're doing it for their own personal pleasure. Let's see how much misery we can cause. Let's see how far we can destroy this country. Let's see how far down we can take it before the people rise up and rebel. And I'll tell you what, in 8 months they've done a bloody good job. In 4 more years, there won't be a country. Thanks very much. Bye.